On today's episode, we're answering the question, no, we're not, because I'm on the wrong damn outline. Jenny and I have challenged ourselves to develop and brainstorm and list out ways that you can promote your business, build relationships, generate leads, get opportunities without doing the summit thing, which we love the summit thing.
It pains my heart, but it's also good.
We love the summit thing. And so the other week, Jenny and I had a nice little brainstorming session. We didn't even talk, I don't think, during this session. We just got into a shared Google document and
nope, didn't even talk. Just
I forced Jenny into the Allison way of brainstorming, which was to not overanalyze or ask questions or do anything but write down ideas.
You caps locked me to shut up. Yes, you did.
I mean, I yelled. I mean, there might have been curse words written into this Google document.
There was.
At some point when I told her to stop something.
Well, that's because I struggle to just list. I immediately want to go into the sub list or explain what this means, or I don't know what that was, or we could do this, or what do you think? And Allison's like, stop. Just list. And that was really, really hard. But we came up with a list of like 46.
I think 46. Is that 46. How many we came up with?
Yep, 46.
I feel like we could have gotten through a lot more. And frankly, had we like broken down each one of them, because some of them have multiple things or tactics in there, we probably could stretch that list out. But the reason I'm telling you this story is we thought we would share some of them with you. And now we haven't gone through this list and we haven't organized anything. This is, I don't know who Jenny is lately, but she is just rolling with the Allison energy, and I am here for it. So a couple of these things we have talked about on this podcast. A couple we haven't. A couple are going to feel doable. A couple won't. A couple are going to apply and some won't. And all of that is okay. But the whole point is to get you thinking about what can you do that might be outside of the box, that's different than just creating content and hoping.
Yes. There's something. Yes. There, and I, not to put a finer point on it, but this came out of a conversation of what everybody's doing isn't working, or what the norm is for a launch or for getting leads or attracting leads isn't necessarily working right now. And one of the things that came out of this was, well, if you keep doing the same darn thing, expecting the same results, well, congratulations and welcome to, that version of making the same decisions and having the same bad results. But the goal for this was to change, it was a bit of a changing my mindset and Allison's too, but mostly mine, because it was me that was feeling like I was in a bit of a crater. And this was to get me to snap out of, with transparency, it was to get me to snap out of, this is the only way I'm going to be able to attract leads. Now there's, because I mean, when I'm 10 years, Allison and I had this conversation yesterday. I thought I was 9 years, but I just realized yesterday I'm 10 years in this business. So I completely lost a year somewhere, but we won't go there. And I realized that after 10 years, I'm still doing the same 6 techniques. We wrote 46 in a matter of 20 minutes. What the actual bleep am I doing by not exploring all of these other things? And before we get into this, last thing I want to say on it is, none of these things are below you. Okay? None of these things are below you.
I just had, you saw it on my face. I had the physical goosebump, visceral, holy guacamole reaction. Such a good line.
Because if you look at these, do you want to get on a high horse and say, I've been in this business for 10 years. The only thing I'm going to do is webinars, challenges, summits, blah, blah, blah. Or are you going to say, yeah, I can I'm prepared to throw everything at this, including the kitchen sink, to achieve what I need to achieve. Because if it ain't working, okay, or if you're feeling stagnant in your launches, or if you're feeling stagnant in your lead gen, this is what you kind of need to do. And you may never touch any of these. Like, number 36 on this list, I will probably never do, quite honestly. But just putting it on the list means that I'm open to the possibility of just exploring my options. Okay, so that's my preamble on this. Let's talk about some of these, because I have favorites. I have things I will never do on this list, but they open up your head and they get you thinking. And that was the whole point of this.
Okay. So what we're going to do, I really like how you said about number 36, because I have actually used that strategy very successfully in my own business. But we're going to pick a number. I'm going to pick a number. You're going to pick a number. We're going to talk about it. Okay.
Okay, sure.
I want to talk about number 8. Direct mail to wish list is what we wrote down.
Okay.
And this one is create a wish list of people you want to work with, partner with, get to know, and send them something in the mail. This is going to require that you up-level your stalking skills if they aren't awesome already. Send them a mail, send them a letter, say, hey, I really like you and I want to work with you.
Why not? Why not try it? I mean, what's the harm in putting the people are going to say, well, putting myself out there is hard, or I wouldn't know what to say, or whatever. Yeah, I get it. But putting yourself out there is the key. And this reminds me, I used to do direct mail to when I worked for the big box retailer. I did in-person and phone call sales for memberships for this company. And we would do direct mail to, like, hey, one of the companies was IBM. We had an IBM location, like a head office close to us. And I was like, hey, IBM, I would love to come in and present big box retailer memberships to your staff. This is how I, blah, blah, blah. And I would basically ask for an opportunity to come into their location and talk about what I do and then sell these memberships. Do you know how hard it is to write a letter to IBM thinking that everybody at IBM is going to laugh at you? Like, because that's how I felt. That's just eliminate from that from your mindset. You're going to get a ton of no's, but the yeses that you get are the ones that can be the things that change everything. And it's worth it for that one thing, right?
Yeah, I used to, quick story time to talk about this. I know that, I used to have a service that I was contracted for a certain amount of little gifts each year. And I would submit a name and an address and a little letter that I wanted to have her send, and she would put together this thing and send it out. Well, I was coming up on my year and I had leftovers. So I went through my wish list and I started sending them out. I had them. They were use them or lose them. Might as well use them. And it made me money. It built relationships. It got my name known. I think number 8 is going to be.
Yeah, I like number 8. And number I remember when you did that too, because if I remember correctly, those little gifts were something very sweet.
Yes, very, very sweet.
Very, very sweet. Okay, yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
I remember that.
All right, pick your number.
My number is number 1. Yeah. Okay. So number 1 is a podcast tour. We've talked about podcast tours before, but podcast tours take consistency. And if you throw the kitchen sink at trying to get on podcast tours, that's wonderful. And you can do that. And we have other episodes. We've talked about this. We'll link it in the show notes so we can talk about podcasting and things like that. But the goal of me saying this one is a reminder to everybody that it's not just, oh, Jenny, I already did my podcast tour in January and I booked 5 podcasts. Well, how about, we're going into Q2 at the time we're going into Q2 at the time we're recording this. This will come out later in Q2. But what are you doing for Q2? What are you doing for Q3? What are you doing for Q4? So podcasting, don't forget, is the long game, right? So the podcast episodes that you record now will live in perpetuity as long as the podcast is out there. So get on that podcast tour because those things pay in dividends. What's your number, Allison? What's your next one?
All right. My next one, it's kind of on here, right? So number 28 is just speaking gigs, which that's one of those that we could break out into 35 different opportunities alone. Okay. But one of the things that I actually just did this last night, I found an expo, small business expo. Jenny, I think I sent you the link.
Yeah, I got it this morning.
And
I haven't looked at it yet,
yeah,
but I opened the landing page and it looks good.
it's an event, and they're in multiple cities, and there is a link on there that says present. It's apply to be a speaker. So I'm going to do that. And so we're not just looking at the big name conferences in your industry. You're looking at where can you get in front of a room of 100 or 200 people or 50 people? Where can you even find these smaller ones in order to get in front of people that could potentially hire you or work with you or partner with you or build a relationship with that can further your business? What is wrong with us? We have the giggles.